Today, we're talking about 5 secrets to creating a strong student leadership team in your youth ministry.
Welcome to the Ministry Coach Podcast, where we give you weekly tips and tactics to help you fast track the growth and health of your youth ministry. My name is Jeff Lascola, and this is
Kristen Lascola, and we're continuing our conversation from last week today about student leadership teams, because this is the season for it. And I want to make sure that you guys are ready to go to launch your team, to execute it well, to have a successful year. And maybe this is the one more nudge you need to actually start your student leadership team. I cannot tell you how much of an impact it makes in the overall health of your youth ministry and starts to teach. I just did my presentation today, so it's all fresh in my head, but starts to teach students that we are needing, some of us, to move from a consumer mindset to a contributor mindset when it comes to church. And this is the perfect way to do it. So I say this little phrase to them over and over again. I didn't think of it. It was our senior pastor, Chris Brown, who says all the things that are wise. He said, speaking to Christians specifically, he says, the church doesn't exist for you. You are the church and you exist for the world. And I think the sooner we help students have that mindset shift, it's good for them and it's good for the church, because like we talked a little bit about last week, I would have probably reached the end of my relationship with the church if I continued in my consumer mindset, because like there's never going to be this perfect youth group or perfect worship set or perfect game or perfect small group. Like there's so many things that, especially in our Western world of low pain tolerance, high need for everything to be perfect. I think if we saw the church as needing to be curated to our preferences, we would all give up a long time ago. I'm not talking about heresy and toxic behavior. I'm just talking about preferences that are not being met because, we look around the church with just a critical eye and almost see ourselves as the customer, and as a youth pastor, sometimes I feel like a customer service representative, based on some of the emails I get or the phone calls I get, like I'm providing a service for the community, which one could argue that there is an element of that is the job, but that is not the core of what the church is. Obviously I want everyone to come and have a great experience and feel welcomed and comfortable and loved. But if that's all I'm doing, I'm not the church. I'm a hotel lobby, right? So we want students just to think differently and deeper about the purpose of church. So I said it a few times today of you are the church and you exist for the world. And I'm not telling you that to say hey, so snap out of it. You're not the customer. More of you won't be satisfied if you keep yourself in the seat of a customer. Your relationship with the church probably will end, or you'll be a church hopper for the rest of your life. And you'll never put roots down anywhere because your view of the church is incorrect. Now, that view of the church is okay when you're just getting started, I think, of do I fit in here? Can my family grow here? Is this a match with us? But I think there comes a point in your relationship with God and the church where you need to now switch your mindset to, okay, now where am I serving? How am I contributing? What part do I play here? What purpose do I serve here? And it's so life-giving for the individual. So how can we make our student leadership teams really strong for this next coming year? Today, we're going to talk about 5 ways we can do that. And number 1 is creating community within that student leadership team. We talk about the number 1 way to build community a lot of times is through the vehicle of small groups. And that's kind of the discipleship model. And this is neck and neck with that. That is right there with it. And we talked last week about my own personal experience of how no matter how many Bible studies I go to or worship services I go to or church services I go to, I have never felt community like I do with the team I'm serving with. Like there is just something exponential about serving alongside someone. And so what we want to teach students is to go from being just a spectator at church to being a part of an inner group that makes things happen, that has a shared goal and vision for furthering the kingdom of God. And through that, we're building relationships on a different level and a different scale. So is your student leadership team designed with the goal in mind for community to happen? To me, it almost feels like it's a youth group within a youth group. So it's like we have the big youth group on Tuesday night, and that's everyone comes. But then on the first Friday of every month from 6 to 8, we have just the student leadership team meet. And it's almost like this different gear of youth group. And it feels like it's a smaller group so we can connect differently. And some student leadership, like at some of our other campuses, they even do like retreats with just their student leadership team. I've done those in the past, just maybe taking them to a conference or something like that. I think one way that really fosters community, I can't really do this very well anymore, but I used to love having them at our house for the meetings. And I did notice a different level of community. We were smaller then, and so it was doable. I can't keep up with the amount of junior hires and nowadays I can't have them in our house anymore. Our house would be sacrificed.
Would not be here anymore.
It wouldn't. No.
You bring up an interesting point though, and I have a question for you. So you're saying like the student leadership is kind of like the youth group within the youth group.
Yeah.
What if your youth group is just really small? Do you not have student leadership, or do you say, yeah, like, and do you like limit, like if you only had 10 kids, it's like, well, I'm only going to let 5 of you do it. Or is it like, we have 10 kids. If all 10 want to be in it, they can do it. Like, how do you, how would you approach something like that?
Yeah, I think it would be weird if it was like everyone. So if I had a super small youth group, I think what I would do is I would limit it by an age. So like maybe it's this special perk that's only for 8th graders. And I've seen youth groups, and especially larger ones, do that. I let any grade sign up, but I don't know if you know who Katie Edwards is. She worked at Saddleback. She might still be there. I actually don't know, but she was the junior high pastor there for a really long time. And I had a long conversation with her a couple of years ago about student leadership team. And she said it's a privilege that she only allows for her 8th graders. And so they like kind of work up to
and that's
it
not
and
for
look
a lack
forward
of
to it.
Having a lot of students either.
Oh,
or
no.
not having enough students.
And she probably does that because she has so many students. So if you had 10 students and say 3 of them were 8th graders, you could extend the opportunity just for them. And you could have this little like Peter, James, and John little core going on.
What if it's like 6th through 12th? Would you limit it just to the seniors or just juniors and seniors or
probably
case by case?
Probably. I would look at my numbers and I would see, I mean, I really wouldn't want to mix junior, like, you know me, I don't like mixing junior hires and high schoolers for youth group.
Right.
And I think that feeling is exaggerated when I think about doing it on a student leadership team. So if I were combined, I would probably just have it for juniors and seniors. So I think that's a way for it to be like still like a set aside kind of group that you're going to take discipleship way further with, because their relationships usually help set the tone, just like your leader relationships, like with your small group leaders, help set the tone for the relational health of the youth group overall. I feel like that same idea applies to student leadership as well, of like, how connected are they? And the energy of their connection can kind of permeate the entire group.
Yeah.
And so fostering ways for them to have a relationship and be close. You know, mine is maybe a different size, you know, from a lot of youth groups, but I do small groups within my student leadership team, you know, and if nothing else, we split up guys and girls and we talk about the Bible studies. Sometimes we all stay together. I just feel like we don't get anything done. There's just too many. But yeah, just like having like small group within the small group kind of thing, but just looking for ways to create community. And that kind of brings me to number 2 and making it fun. Like, I think if you were to show up to my student leadership meeting, and I hate calling it a meeting because anything that's a meeting from my perspective is boring. I don't like meetings. So I think when you walk in on a Friday night, you would wonder, are you having a party or are you doing a meeting? And it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Like, it is super fun. So the way I structure it, they come in, we have music, we all have dinner together. They pay for it, by the way. So, if you're like, well, I don't have the budget for food, I charge them $5 and it covers it. And then we play a game. And this is where I really like to get creative because I have my tried and true games. I do my game calendar ahead of time every year. But sometimes I want to beta test a game and I don't want to risk a throwaway night at youth group because I have a lot of students. And so if we played a game and it didn't work, that's a bummer. Like, I just wasted a whole
You're disappointing a lot of kids.
You are. And I wasted a whole youth group night on a game. But then when you read about a new game or you invent a new game in your head, you're like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, so I test them on my student leadership team and I tell them that, like, hey guys,
guinea pigs,
you're the first ones to ever try this. Like, we're going to see what we think. And then we'll even talk about it after. Okay, so what was fun about that? What didn't work? Or, okay, well, I think if the teams were smaller, it would have been more fun. Or no, they cheated. So you need to make a rule that says you can't da 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 da. So we kind of talk about it. And they're sort of like the insiders of like the youth group. Like, I look at it as kind of like it's me and my interns and then them. Yeah. And like we kind of allow them to do ministry with us. Like, kind of pull back the curtain a little bit and they're sort of on the inside of what's going on. So in that sense, it's really fun. And sometimes the games that I want to play with them are a test. And then sometimes it's like, I've wanted to play this game forever, but our youth group is too big. So let's just play it with us. And it's really fun. Or I need all these supplies if I'm going to play with 150 kids. Right. But if I only play with 30 kids, great, I can play it, So I make sure that we're always having fun because I want them to come and look forward to it and not be like meeting, but like almost be bummed if they missed it, And the advantage for middle school on a Friday night, and I think I've mentioned this before, is they don't drive. So when I tried doing our student leadership meetings like after church on a Saturday night or after church Sunday afternoon, they were like, this is the worst. I'm like, what's the difference? And they're like, we like having plans on Friday and like all of our friends are here and it's so fun. And, it's always like an event. And now it's just like tacked on to church and we would have been here anyways. I'm like, okay. So I went back to Friday nights because I was thinking for myself, 2 birds, 1 stone. Right. I don't have to do another night. But I was like, all right, we're going to lose the energy and momentum if I, take that away. So I went back to Friday nights and then we do our meeting and we learn our leadership stuff. We go over our homework and then we have dessert at the end of the night. And, it's just fun. The energy is high. And, I like doing it in homes. We're too big for that. So if you do it at the church, that can also be really fun. Like they feel like they own the place because it's just like the 30 something of us there and they run all around and go crazy. And so you've just like, I feel like that's a mantra for student ministries in general, and student leadership is no exception. If it's not fun, people won't come. Yeah. People will not be a part of it. And, I was thinking on the way to church today, like, I feel like so many pastors like treat people in a sense of like how people should be or how they think people should be instead of just accepting how people are. And humans enjoy fun. So you need to make it fun, the end kind of thing. I think sometimes people are like, well, people should get here on time. So, we're not going to put out any more rows of chairs. What's here is here. Yeah. It's like shoulda, coulda, woulda, but they're not. So put out more chairs. Like, I don't know. Right. Like there's just certain things like just take people for who they are on some of those, you know? So number 3 would be challenge them. So I love this aspect of student leadership because it's like students who have signed up to say, I'm ready for a challenge, and I can go a little deeper with our Bible study, because this is a group that is signed up for a challenge. They're signing up for a commitment. They are ready to be like maybe go next level in their faith. And I can challenge them on my curriculum a little bit. Of the Bible studies tend to be deeper than just a small group type curriculum on a Tuesday night, because that net is really wide on Tuesday night. All kinds of kids are coming. And not that I like water the gospel down, but it's more the questions. Leaders can take it deeper if they need to, but some of these kids, this is their first experience of church. And so what they're capable of talking about is different than a leadership team. It should be,
Right.
you know? So I love going a little deeper with my leadership kids, because as a pastor who has been doing this for a long time, it scratches an itch for me too. I love to be able to talk a little more deeply and challenge kids on leadership stuff. And, you know, I challenge them to get outside their comfort zone, because again, they've signed up. I'm here for a challenge. So, you know, I will look at them and say, hey, you better go greet that kid. They're all by themselves. Who, where? Okay. And some of them are like, oh no, I don't know. And I love saying like, hey, this is what we signed up for. Like, our comfortability is not the priority right now. Like, somebody feeling welcomed in our church and wanting to come back so they meet Jesus is the priority right now. So let's get over it. And I wouldn't do that to just any old kid who came in my classroom, you know, but my student leadership, I have a license to say, nope, we are the church.
Yeah.
This is what we signed up for. And it's good for them to be challenged and pushed. And when we do our service project, we work with autistic adults, and it's uncomfortable for them at first. And then by the end of the night, they're crying and wanting to do it again next week. Can we do this every week? Can we do this every month? Can we, you know, because they were pushed outside of their comfort zone and had to minister to people who are different than them. And it leaves a mark on them. Like, it is so, so good for them. If you have a safe way to do homeless outreach, I've had, you know, students have a similar experience where they just get in the car and start bawling because it was just so outside of the norm of what they, like the positions they are put in, you know what I mean? Visiting the elderly, visiting the sick, just getting kids to kind of see a world that is bigger than their Pinterest feed and their sports team of everything kind of fits into neat, nice boxes for them.
Do
but
kids have Pinterest feeds?
girls do.
Really?
100%. Yeah. You know, and everyone wants everything, like, especially girls, like they want it all to be perfect and cute and aesthetic.
And exactly the same as all their friends. But
yes.
whatever.
But just getting their world a little bigger of like, hey, there's people that it changes them. It helps them to see, and it challenges their love too, of like, they feel better knowing I do love people like, you know, that are different than me, and getting to use the love of God that's in them. You know, we always say like, oh, find that kid at school who is sitting by themselves, and, you know, but it's like, okay, but is there more than that? And there is, and students are really good at it when challenged. So number 4, inspire them and empower them with all the things that we have been talking about. You know, like I said, that phrase, make sure they understand you are the church and you exist for the world. And one thing I try to get them to understand, so I do a big training with them on how, because, you know, junior hires, like, love them. They're adorable, but they can be awkward conversationalists sometimes. And so I train them on just a very basic social skill of how to talk to a new person that you don't know 101. Because that's my job. That's all I do.
Right.
Here's a new family. I need to greet them, talk to them, get to know them. Here's a new kid. I need to figure out who they are and plug them in where they need to go. Here's a new leader. I need to make sure they're comfortable and show them around the church. Like, I do that for a living.
Right.
And I forget people don't know how to talk to people.
How to human.
Especially 12-year-olds.
Right.
So I take them through these simulations of, okay, new kid. And I give them different scenarios. This kid is shy, but you can tell they want to be involved. They just don't know how. Okay. And then I simulate a conversation with them and I say, here's a question that you could ask, or here's a way you can invite them to participate. Okay. Different scenario. There's a kid who's sitting in the corner, doesn't want to be bothered, and is kind of hostile, and he's annoyed that you're talking to him. How do you handle that? What do we do next? How do we get out of the conversation if we need to? What about the kid who is super friendly and excited to be there? What do we do next with them? If the conversation stops and you feel awkward, what do we do next? What's some good? So I give them these questions that they can put in their back pocket of, like, for example, it'd be like, hey, like, I don't know if we've ever met. Like, my name's Kristen. What school do you go to? That's a great place to start. Oh, I go to this junior high. Oh, what grade are you going into? Or what grade are you currently in? It's summer. That's why I said that. I'm in 7th grade. Oh, that's awesome. Do you know anyone at this church, or how did you come here? Like, did you get invited by your friend, or are you just checking it out? Okay. See what they have to say. Then, pick up on their energy. Are they desperately trying to get out of this conversation with you? Then just say, hey, well, I'm so glad you're here. I just wanted to say hi. If you want to hang out, we'll be over here.
I just want to let you know that neither one of us wants to have this conversation. So let's end it now.
This is all Kristen's fault, just so you know. So I try to take them through that, and then I have them partner up with each other and try to just start conversation.
Yeah.
And I say, one of you act shy and like
just act like yourself.
Hard to draw out, or just like
just stare.
From Zach Workin, remember he would talk about just like how to like lead with compliments too, of
like your shoes.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, those the new Nikes? Those are so cool. Like, where'd you get them? Or, just you can compliment them on whatever.
Right.
And I mean, I know for myself, a compliment goes a long way.
Totally.
Like, everyone loves to be complimented. So
someone complimented me on my shoes just the other day. And he happened to be a shoe shine person in the mall, so he wanted my business too.
I'm sure he
but
meant it.
But I took that compliment and I was like, nope, I don't hear anything else.
I'm sure
no, you don't get my business.
He meant it. Yep. So, because your shoes probably were not the shineable type anyways.
They were Vans, so yeah, I don't know what he would have done. Just dusted them off or something.
Dusted them off. Who knows? Thank you, shoe shiner.
I don't know. Maybe he could have worked magic.
I didn't know there was such thing as shoe shiners anymore.
They're always in the airport.
That's what I think of.
And yeah, it was the Carlsbad Outlet Mall. He was there and he said, called me boss. I get called boss by people a lot.
Do you like it?
I don't know. It's interesting. But anyways, he said, hey boss, love your shoes, man. And then he said something like that was all I heard after that. And then he said something about cleaning them, or I don't know what. I was like, no thanks.
No thanks.
Everybody likes a compliment.
Yeah.
All that to say.
Hey friend, I just wanted to interrupt this episode for a second to let you know about an awesome opportunity for you and your youth ministry. So last year we launched our course and coaching program called Youth Ministry Growth Accelerator, and the response has been amazing. So we've helped tons of youth pastors grow the size and health of their youth ministry, and we want to invite you to be a part of that as well, because maybe you're just sort of feeling stuck in a rut. Maybe you don't know what to do next. Maybe you just have a vague plan in your mind of what you're doing, and you want some real help to get you from where you are to where you want to go. So if that sounds like something you've been looking for, go to growyouryouthministry.com and check it out for more details. All right, let's get back to the episode. Okay, number 5, platform and appreciate them. So one way I love to platform my student leadership team is through our student leadership bio boards. So there's a board, it's just on like foam board, but it's a print and there's a spot for their picture and then all the questions. And I've talked about these before, and it's like, what's your favorite food? And what do you want to be when you grow up? What's your SOS job? What's your favorite movie quote? What's your favorite app? What, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be? And I just put those up in my junior high room, and it's just like, kind of like, hey, here's your student leadership team for the next year. And people like love to just sit and look at those. And I think that's a great way to appreciate them through some platforming, because they do work hard. And I think sometimes it's fun to give leaders who are serving just special perks. We allow them to be a part of a lot of video shoots that we do. So if we're doing a video shoot, like we did a new one on our rules, it was so funny. And like, we just told them all the rules and then they had to like act them out and like
the cringe is like creeping.
Okay. They were so cute. It was good. And so we filmed it, or like sometimes they'll film game instructional videos with us, how to play a game, and they'll like do the different steps of the game. When we do a student takeover night, we'll film their testimonies or whatever. So anyways, it's just like cool to give them these special privileges. Like, hey, you get to be in the video, or hey, your picture's up on this thing or whatever. And I think that creates a strong team as well because they're proud of themselves, you know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's not like vain attention. I just think it's a nice, like, hey, here's the team that's going to be serving our church and our youth group. Why not?
You have talked about those boards before, the leader boards and student leadership boards. We have, if you want to see what they look like, we've done them in 2 episodes. Both were the tours that we did. One of them was the weekend service room tour. I think you have all your student leadership bio boards up there. And then the one we did of the entire youth group, we'll link these episodes below, but they have a section just where you can see the little bio board. And a lot of people ask, how do you make those? What are they made from? So they're pre-printed, correct?
Yeah. So we have the privilege. I do have a graphics department at our church, and they have created the graphic and then they just print it on that foam board and then they cut it. Okay. So that's like, obviously, like there's probably a print shop in a 10-mile radius from your church that could do that.
Or couldn't you even
online
go to, I don't know, like a dollar store and just get frames or something?
Totally. You could do it any way.
Just put the same name, favorite Disney character, favorite movie quote, all that stuff. Anyways, check out those episodes. You'll see kind of what they look like. And then just, I don't know, be creative. There's nothing really that special about them. They're just fun to look at. So.
They are. Yeah. There's a ton of ways you can do the bio boards. You can make it cheaper. You can, like you said, go to Dollar Tree, get the frames. Yeah. I mean, a million ways to do it, but yeah, it's just a cool thing. If you want to do them digitally and have them rotating on your TV, someone brought that up as an idea the other day. It's like, yeah, put them in Pro Presenter. If you don't have like the capacity to print, that's free. Right. You could just have each student up at a time, and it's like on a rotating on your pre-show before, church starts or youth group or whatever. That could work.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, those are 5 secrets to creating a strong student leadership team.
There you go. All right, we're going to do a community comment of the day, and then we're going to do our giveaway winner for this week.
Ooh.
And the community comment of the day comes from, I love this name, Nunyo Business 707.
Sassy.
Who says, there is a lot of wisdom in this. Love your content. It has been incredibly helpful. We thank you so much.
Wish I could say who to thank but for that
but
comment.
It's Nunyo Business.
None of my business.
All right, we're going to do the giveaway winner for this week, which we're giving away rhino skin dodgeballs.
Aww.
6-inch coated foam rhino
lucky.
Skin
Rhino
dodgeballs.
skins.
Yeah, these are
Can awesome. I be the winner?
No, you already have some of those. And these tend to last a long time.
I was about to say, you're right. I do. I have a lot of them, and I've had them for years.
Yeah.
Junior hires can't destroy them. The only risk you run is them losing them. Like, they throw them and you're like, where did it go? Like,
right. But if you look up in the church, there's probably some in the rafters at any given time.
Yes. And I always count them before I put them back in my bag. And I'm like, okay, I'm missing 2. Where are they? So we search high and low.
Yes. All right. The winner for this week, Rhino Skin Dodgeballs, is Christy Johnson.
Congratulations, Christy Johnson. Enjoy your rhino skins.
All right, if you guys want to join the giveaway, you have a chance to win. And next week is actually going to be the last week of the giveaway. I thought we might be doing 2 more weeks after that, but it's actually just 1 more week. So this is it. Make sure you get your entries in. You can gain more entries by doing comments in the videos below. And actually, we have full details of the giveaway instructions, or we'll link that below. So check that out. But you can get extra entries for comments. You can get extra entries, 25 extra entries for leaving a review on our Apple Podcast channel.
I have a
so
question.
make sure you guys do that.
They've already left a review. Can you leave
I
another
honor
one?
that. Yeah. So take a screenshot. That's very important because otherwise we don't know who is who. Because sometimes it has a name like None Your Business. And I'm like, I don't know who you are. So make sure when you email it to us, you screenshot it so we know who it was. But yeah, if you've done it in the past, by all means, put it on there. We will honor that still. So thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.
Okay. Punch my eardrum.
Bless you.
Today, we're talking about 5 secrets to creating a strong student leadership. Today, we're talking about 5 secrets to help you create a strong student ministry leadership team in your student ministry youth group.